Right, so Collision was last night. This one's a bit later than I normally do it. Apologies for that. Obviously, Tanahashi's retirement match was this morning, so instead of watching Collision this morning, I watched Tanahashi's match live, and some of the cards. I got to see a man walk down a ramp with a broken leg. That was cool. I want to make a separate video on that, but Collision this week was... There was not a lot of interest going into this Collision, but I thought it really exceeded my expectations. I did not expect to enjoy this Collision as much as I did. So I'm just going to go through it and recap it as we normally do. Sit tight. So, Collision actually opened up with, I don't know if this is new or they haven't done it in a while or whatever. I've not seen them do this, at least to my recollection. They had they had Tony and Mina, Dante Martin and Christopher Daniels, Shelton Benjamin and MVP, and Darby Allin all do little preview promos at the very start, rapid fire after each other for the entire show, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a really fun and unique way to start. I hope they do that again. I really do. I really enjoyed that. I don't know why. I just thought that's new, that's interesting, and that's just, you know what I mean? It's something different, and I love that. I really did. So our first match of the night, however, was the El Clon debut. The shadow to hologram Sonic. That's what I'm just going with. I was ridiculously happy with this. I called him to face Serpentico, or whatever the guy's name is. He paced his partner. I forget the guy's name. The one who does the jiggle. The one who doesn't wear the mask. He was, out of all the people I could have picked, it could have been a random Texas indie guy. And I picked the guy who he tags with. I was quite proud of that. But El Clon looked really good. I didn't expect him to look this good. I thought he really, really looked agile. Looked powerful. Hologram I haven't seen in a while, so I can't really give you an opinion off the top of my head. But El Clon really looked fun. I liked how, his taunt is the funniest shit. So his gear comes out. So holograms is obviously the H. So his is just a massive C. And it's I'm torn between, is this cool or is this just dumb? It's so hard to differentiate. I think it's goofy, but also I kind of love it. His taunt is so hologram does the H. He goes like that, then turns it and goes. It's dumb as hell. But I enjoyed how he looked. He looked quite vicious. He got the win. It wasn't truly a squash, but it was really good shots, 4 minutes. But it's what you needed. The guy looks solid. He looks honestly, I really like how they made him look like his own guy. I was worried that we were going to get a hologram thing after it. We never, and I was quite happy with that because you don't want this guy just to be tied to hologram. It kind of kills the character. I do like how they're just keeping this guy mysterious, and I enjoyed this. I don't really know what to say. The guy looked he was a really solid lucha match, So, and you know me, I love my luchadors when I can see them. So I enjoyed this. I will say his finish is the twist. So he holds you and then spins you around and then slams you. That was pretty fun. So after the match, he's attacking him again. Oh no, he's not attacking him. So he's beat him and he's standing there doing his taunt. And he's looking over him. And then Serpentico, the one who I predicted him to originally match up with, runs over to try and protect him because he looks hurt, and he pushes El Clon out the way. So El Clon looks at him and starts beating him up. And then I was thrilled to see this. Fucking Commander runs out and makes the save, and then El Clon does the whole thing of pointing at you. He does the salute and then does the pointer in Commander. And I love that. I haven't seen Commander in a while, so I like Commander. I think Commander's great. So, and to my surprise, again, Collision didn't announce a lot of stuff prior to this tonight, so we got a Commander match, and I can't wait. It was so good, and this, I was really happy. I thought this was a nice little interaction, getting some good solid AEW luchador stuff. But that one, it was the salute, the presentation they're going for El Clon already. I like they're really making him look weird, and I think that's exactly the way to go. Don't make him look humane, make him look weird. He's just randomly saluting and then pointing at you. He looks like a Terminator in a way, not as big in stature, but you know what I mean, sort of programmed and robotic. I don't know how to describe it, but I enjoyed this match. I thought it was really fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. I really am. So after this, we got a Moxley promo backstage with his Continental belt. He's going on a little rant about everything, get all these things, mesh them together, all these wrestlers, hard work, blood, sweat, tears, all that stuff, and mix it together, it makes the Continental Classic. And whoever wins. And then he goes on to say the title doesn't mean much but then he also says it's a good representation. It's kind of hard to describe what he's saying. Then he goes on to say about, he's faced a lot of like big people, a lot of hard people in his career. Shelton's definitely going to be one of the top, but end of the day, Shelton's not him. And he says, Shelton, I love this line. He goes, Shelton, if you want to get through me, you're going to have to do more than hurt me. Really good line. Solid short box promo, but that line I really liked. So our next match was Tony and Mina Shirakawa, the Timeless Love Bombs, against Hyann and Maya Wade. Now, it's good, obviously, I say this every time, nice to see Hyann and Maya Wade. I just am. And this match I enjoyed. They showed respect between each other. I will say that a lot of this match was Mina Shirakawa, and I kind of enjoyed that. I feel like a lot of times with tag matches, especially with like teams that are formed via two singles guys, not natural tag teams, not like a Bucks or FTR situation, it's easy to have the bigger star just be the hot tag. And Tony was the hot tag, but she still didn't look invincible. But I liked how Mina got a lot of the spotlight in this one. Mina looked good as always, and she was I will say Mina was really entertaining in terms of, she normally does a little dance and like the jiggle of the chest, but when she's like doing the funny looks at the camera and stuff, I really enjoyed that. I think Mina's really improved, vastly improved. But Tony looked solid. Obviously the hip attacks are the main thing. Hyann and Maya Wade, I really like. I didn't know this. I heard this on commentary. I don't know if they've mentioned this before. These girls never teamed before they debuted in AEW, and I think that's really cool because I like how they look as a team. I think they look fun. I will say with the girls, this match was not really a true tag match. It was just mainly singles. There was the odd tag move, nothing crazy though. Like the only tag move I can think of is a double clothesline to, obviously reference Better Than You Baby. But Hyann and Maya will definitely have, points where they're just picking on them and stuff, like both hitting each other, stuff like that. Timeless Love Bombs did get the win. It was because Tony got the Storm Zero after Mina went out and took out, I think it was Hyann, or I forget which one. I know which one, but I forget who it was. So I know how to differentiate them. I just forget who it was in this point. And Mina does like a funny look to the camera, going, get in, stuff like that. And then they're walking out. Luther gives them like a little pat and like a brush of their hair and stuff. I thought that was fun. They shake hands out the way out. And then when they get out, I thought this was really cool. While they're on the top of the ramp, the Death Riders theme hits because Marina Shafia's got a match next. And they interrupt. So like you see Tony and Mina going, where is she? And they're getting held back. Because obviously Marina doesn't come through the ramp. She goes through the stands. So that was fun. And then, so the next match was Marina Shafir and Megan Bayne. They had a match against two local talents. I don't know the name. I like their gear, though. They look very fashionable. I think that was their whole gimmick. And they look solid. I felt this was a lot more of a tag showing, because it started off with Marina looking solid, as you expect. Then Megan got tagged in. Megan looked solid as a singles. And they set up a solid tag move, where it was like Megan held up the woman, and then Marina's sitting down waiting, and she's going, give it to me, baby, give it to me. And then she gets her in the mother's milk and gets the win. Immediate tap out, and I love that. And then that was it. As soon as it finished, Marina screams at the camera, where are you, Tony? And I thought that was really fun. So it kind of I like the segue between those two matches. It was a solid show out between these two. I'm still glad these two are still teaming. I'm happy that it wasn't just a tag team tournament thing. I like these two as a team. And honestly, I like Marina Shafir just being in the women's teams, obviously building their feud. I think we should have got a mic time after this, I will say. I think Marina could have cut a promo on Tony, and then maybe we see what Megan wants to do, maybe. But I feel like this is the point with these two. Like, I just feel like we just need some, besides the Tony stuff, I feel like the Tony stuff only benefits Marina. I don't really know, besides helping Marina at this point, what's Megan doing? So I feel like if we could get something, like some direction with Megan Bayne, I wouldn't be against that. But with Willow, with the new TBS title, you never know what's going to happen. So we could get Megan vs. Willow down the line. That could be cool. That could be the way. After this, I love this. So backstage, it was Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, and Hechicero. And Josh Alexander looks nuts, and he's cutting a promo. And he basically says, the Don Callis family's taken over. We got Konosuke Takeshita over in Japan defending his IWGP belt. We got Azuki Okada, who's going to retire Hiroshi Tanahashi. And he zooms out, and he's just got this a brutal ankle lock. And you see Lance Archer and Hechicero in the back, and then he grabs Hechicero and goes, and my boy Hechicero, you're gonna beat Commander. That's the title match. So whoever won that match got a TNT title shot, and then he goes, you're gonna win and bring the TNT belt back to the Don Callis family. Hechicero goes, "Rrr," and gets off. And then Lance Archer's got this guy, and he throws the guy up, and his head goes through the ceiling, and walks off and goes, everybody dies. Then Josh Alexander's like, "Arr," and walks off. I love the Don Callis family. I made that very clear. I will say I love how this promo portrayed Josh Alexander. It really made me realise that besides Don, obviously, I feel like Josh Alexander is their leader in terms of wrestlers in ring. And I think that's just because he's the most similar to Don. Like, he's clearly the closest with Don. It feels like, maybe besides Okada, but that's kind of that's only just kind of pissed the Kester off. I really like how they portray Josh Alexander here. I feel like he's kind of like the Leonard. He's like the captain, football metaphor. He's kind of like the captain on the pitch for the Don Callis family. And even though he's not the biggest superstar, obviously, Takeshita, Fletcher, Okada, he seems like the most professional in a way. And I love that. I really do like how they presented Josh Alexander. And I just like this promo. It wasn't insanely wordy or anything. I just thought it was fun. And for me, that's Don Callis family are probably one of the most entertaining parts of any AEW show, regardless in match, backstage, whatever, because the faction's so big and so varied. But I really enjoyed this. I'm really liking what Josh Alexander's been doing the last few weeks, so I'm never going to complain. And it's nice to see Lance Archer doing something, because I actually really like Lance Archer. So it's nice to see him back on screen for a bit, not just as Don Callis' bodyguard, essentially. Like I said earlier on, we got a Commander match, which is against Hechicero. Whoever wins gets a TNT shot against Mark Briscoe next week at Collision, even though Josh Alexander said Dynamite in the promo. They didn't announce this prior. I was thoroughly invested. I love this match. I thought this was excellent. I thought, again, Hechicero is one of the most technical, probably the most technical luchador I've seen. And Commander's so light. He's so light as just a human, as a wrestler. Looks so good. The airtime he gets. I mean, he gets in the air so high and does the salute. It's nuts. How Hechicero, as the man that size, can move and just have locks and, joint control, essentially, of that size is nuts. This is true lucha, and, not true lucha, to the standard, but I love how much lucha we got on this card, and this is my match of the night. I really enjoyed this match. I didn't know which way it was going. I didn't like the finish. I feel like this match, one thing about this match I loved is how it continuously, Hechicero looked great, but then Commander, bear in mind, I haven't seen Commander in a while, so I don't know if he's been doing stuff on ROH, probably has, but I really like Commander, and it was nice to be reminded how good Commander is. There's a point where Commander gets on one rope, and it was like he was going for a coast-to-coast, but Hechicero was outside the ring, so I was like, no way, he's going for it. And then he gets on the top buckle, runs across the ropes, and then jumps and does the salute. That was nuts. Oh my God, a bunch of the holds that Hechicero has him in. But there's a point where, just Commander's going for it. And I think it was after that point, when he done that rope walk, and then he does another one where he gets back on the buckle after getting Hechicero back on the ring, walks again, does a flip. That, to me, should have been the finish. But then, and not that it went on too long, I think it was a great match, and I was never complaining with the length of time. But then the match actually finished, because Commander was definitely on top, and he was getting Hechicero. It was basically Commander's there to win. Hechicero looked really out of it. And El Clon runs out, actually, and pushes Commander off a turnbuckle. And then Hechicero basically gets advantage and gets the win. Now, it's not that I don't like El Clon. I like this match, and I'm not against that. I just thought this match didn't need an interference win, especially for Hechicero. I get it, because it still made Commander look strong, and it was it kind of deflated the match a bit in a way, but I feel like this match could have been fine. I think if you could have Hechicero do, just get up and drag him off the ropes or something, that could have been fine. And yeah, it gives El Clon more heat and more than your status, essentially. But I think the match I really enjoyed this match. This is the best match of AEW Collision this year. But but I didn't expect to enjoy this as much. This match was making me go, shit, this Collision bangs, and I didn't expect it. It's really excited. I didn't know the match was existing before I started the program, so really happy. This match was excellent, truly, and although I don't love the finish, in terms of just being an interference finish, I get it. And I get why, the logic behind it, but I just prefer if they didn't do that. But I don't want to complain about this match. This is really good. This was a reason to watch Collision. Why they didn't advertise this to me is beyond me. So after this, we get like a vignette sort of thing with the Acclaimed, Max and Bowens, who still hate each other. They're trying to say nice things about each other. Bowens calls Max Caster gay. You know, just backhanded compliments, being really sarcastic. It was weird. Then they're going around New York, where they're walking around. They sit next to this hopeless Santa and stuff. You know, just doing dumb stuff like, we're not friends, even though they're getting on more. So they're clearly teasing that. What was funny, actually, so it takes place in Cardiff and New York. And if you've watched my AEW Cardiff video when I was there, the young girl who I helped get in, I spoke to, and she made like a Kevin Knight jacket and stuff. You could see her in the video, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I was kind of like, oh, that's nice. I was happy for her to be in that. I hope she's seen it by now. But it's fine. Again, I'm not really fond of what they're doing with the Acclaim, so I haven't really much to say. But it's fine. I like how they've just done something. Again, this is different. I like how it's different. It's not different for wrestling, but it was different for AEW Collision, and it stood out, and I like that. I'm going to assume they're going to do a few more skits like this, which, not against. Good, honestly. I'm not against that. I think this is a good little way to kind of have the Acclaimed on the show without taking up too much time. I like that. So, after this, we got Eddie Kingston and Ortiz coming out for a promo. Eddie Kingston does not care. He's off. This is a great one for Eddie. So he comes out and he just tells straight away, Tony Schiavone, hold that mic up. Ric Flair must have been real angry at you, goddamn, all stuff like that. So he goes, I was going to basically going on about how much he's missed Ortiz. He said he nearly quit the company about 8 times before Ortiz showed up. And he was, I don't think that was a joke. It's insane. After that, he sees a woman in the sign with a happy birthday. And he goes, first off, happy birthday, darling. Thanks for spending $1. And then he sees a kid who's like 8 birthday. He goes, well, we got another birthday. And he goes, hey, happy birthday, young man. And then the kid's birthday was 8. And he goes, hey, young man, I'm going to say you something. Enjoy your 8th birthday, because after that, it all goes downhill. And everyone's like, what? Shivani's like, what? And he goes, hey, I ain't lying. It's dumb as hell. And then Ortiz Eddie basically, after that, Ortiz gets the mic. He gives Ortiz the mic. And Ortiz is like, look, Eddie got the gift of the gab. I got the gift of kicking people's asses. So, and they call out GYV, you know, come up, get stepped. Kingston does the same. Basically says anyone on notice. And then that was kind of it. It was just a very short promo. I don't like how they didn't give Eddie a lot of time. I feel like they're really lacking some Eddie Kingston minutes, and I'm kind of not happy about it. But I like Eddie Kingston a lot. I thought this promo was just so quintessential Eddie. There clearly was like, you know, we need to go in depth on the promo, but he's seen something. I love Eddie Kingston's interaction with the fan base. I think it's perfect, and I'm never going to complain about it. He sees stuff like someone's birthday sign and he'll make sure to, you know, acknowledge it. I love that with Eddie Kingston. What a hero. And Ortiz, nice to see Ortiz back too. So after this, backstage we have Big Bill and Brian Keith. I was happy to see these guys again. I haven't seen them in a while. And so they're about to talk about their upcoming match with Jet Speed. And then Big Bill goes, hold on a minute. Did I just say Eddie Kingston and Ortiz? You know, and Chad says Ortiz is a good guy. And then he calls Eddie like an idiot or something for realizing that. And then Brian Keith just goes, dumbass. It's funny as hell. And then they basically go on to say someone's put a bounty on Jet Speed. That's why they're having a match, you know, and then, you know, they get off. It's kind of fun. I love these two. I really do. Even when Jericho was there, I enjoyed them as a learning tree. But I don't care. This is fun. And I wish we get more Brian Keith and Big Bill. I feel like they're a really good act for Collision. And honestly, I don't dislike them as a tag team. I think they're actually quite fun. So, it might be a hot take. I don't care. I like these guys. But after that, we did get their match with Jet Speed. This match was fun. This match wasn't too complex. It was very, very simple in the sense of Big Bill and Brian Keith were just being bullies, and I loved them. Like, those two just got so much charisma, specifically Brian Keith. Big Bill has charisma, obviously, physically, but Brian Keith's just got that, like, little small dog energy that I love. I think he's hilarious. Like, there's a point where he gets chopped and he goes, oh, hell no. Like, stuff like that. Kevin Knight in this match is hilarious. Like, Speedball's got Brian Keith ready to throw him in the ring, and I don't know why it made me laugh. Kevin Knight goes, "Get his short ass in the ring." I was like, what the hell's going on? But I really, really enjoyed this. I thought, again, should have heard some of the chops from Big Bill. Big Bill really done well. I liked how this one kind of was just like a cartoon in a way. Like, there's a point where Jet Speed do a double clothesline to I love how this is becoming a stim. They do a double clothesline to Brian Keith, which takes out, and then they try to do one to Big Bill, and he stands there and he smiles, and then they look at each other and just like Scooby Doo, and they go, "Oh God!" and they both run out, and then they do the jump out stuff. I love that. I thought this was just fun. And again, it's not like, this is kind of like the Josh Alexander versus Moxley match, but in another direction, where doesn't need to be something you've never seen before. It's very simple. It's just very fun, like kind of indie style wrestling, and I love that. I really love that. There's some moves, obviously. Kevin Knight in the air is phenomenal. We all know that. Brian Keith looks great here. So does Big Bill, admittedly, but so does Brian Keith. I love how they worked Big Bill's character here. Just made him look like, a bully, essentially, and that's what he should be. Not the strongest, but just a bully, making fun of him. Like, him and Brian Keith were holding Speedball, and he's going, "Ah," and Speedball's like, "Get the fuck up." Like, it's just dumb. And I just, the shameless, the very, not one dimension, but one note, and I love that. I think that really benefits these guys. The finish was fun. There was a point where I thought that Brian Keith and Big Bill were going to win. And I hope we get more interactions between these two teams. I will say that straight away. They have the point where, so Big Bill's in the ring, Brian Keith's outside, and then Kevin Knight's on one side and Speedball's on the other, and they look at each other, and it looks like they're going to do a double, and they don't. They both go up at the same time, very symmetrical, but Speedball goes backwards to flip out to Brian Keith. Or it's the other way around. It's either Brian Keith or Big Bill, obviously, out of the ring. And Kevin Knight does the UFO splash, and they get the win. That was really fun. I was happy. This match was fun. And it wasn't incredible, but Jet Speed were always fun to see, and it was nice to see Brian Keith and Big Bill too. Again, I hope this isn't over. I don't know why. I had a fondness towards this. I really enjoyed this collision, and I don't know why. But I really would like to see more of these two teams going at it. I don't know why. I just found it fun. And I like the fact that even on commentary, like, "Oh, I wonder who put the bounty on it," and they just go, "Yeah, Don Callis put the bounty." Like, they just give up the act straight away, and I love it. I wish we would have got a Don promo on this, maybe. That could have been fun, but I enjoyed this match. I just enjoyed this. I really did. So, after this, we got GYV backstage reacting to the Eddie and Ortiz promo. Zach Gibson just going, "You guys," basically call him out. And then, I don't know, it was kind of like, they said a lot, but didn't say anything at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, you guys, oh, you think Ortiz has had it rough, bloody hell," and, just basically one of those promos, quite generic, but the Inviction was good. I'm trying to be positive about GYV. I just don't like how they talk. But that was kind of it. They basically say, "Eddie and Ortiz, we'll be seeing you." So I assume that's going to be next week's Collision. That could be fun. So, this was really fun. So, it was originally supposed to be Shelton Benjamin versus Scorpio Sky. However, this Scorpio Sky was not medically cleared. It didn't say why. But then, so Dante Martin stepped in. And I really enjoyed that. I like Dante Martin a lot. I haven't seen him in a while either. So, this is what this collision was like. It was a bunch of people I haven't seen in a while. I was really happy about that. So Dante Martin took on Shelton. The start of this match was brutal. Like, they showed respect at the very start. And then the Shelton was just being a powerhouse. And it clearly was going, like, one way. Shelton, Dante Martin looked okay, looked really good in the air, but Shelton obviously being too much of a powerhouse. Like, the chops and Shelton just stands there, stuff like that. I love Shelton Benjamin on his own. The presentation, you can tell straight away, is so much better when it's just him and MVP. I don't know why. It's not that I dislike Bobby Lashley. I just think Shelton and Bobby... Shelton on his own is just better. To me, it's just better. And not even just as a singles match, obviously, but I just think MVP and him as a duo work rather than him, Bobby, and MVP. I don't know why. I don't know how to describe that, but I just do. But point is, there's a point where Dante Martin goes on the top to throw, to do a dive, and then Shelton pushes him off, and he goes, I swear, he goes flying to a barricade. And he goes out, he clearly cracks a rib, and you can tell it's a genuine, like, hurt. You can tell he probably has broken a rib at this point. So Shelton, probably MVP and all that, try to work it off. Shelton goes, "Well, get his ass up." And then this is during the break. I love this. I really enjoyed this. This is true, like, just, this is what pro wrestling compared to indie wrestling does to me. This is really professionals at work, you could tell. Because MVP grabs the mic mid-match and goes, "Hey kid, just give up, take the count out, no one will feel bad for you." And then, and then Christopher Daniels, like, he says, like, "Don't take your mentor's invite." And then someone in the crowd goes, "Hey, don't talk to CD like that." Like, he was genuinely pissed. And then Dante Martin gets the mic and goes, "Hey, Shelton, my mom never raised no bitch, did yours?" And then Nigel Main goes, "Oh, you don't talk about Shelton Benjamin's mother." And then Shelton just goes ham on him, starts ripping into him, like, in terms of just physically. And the match continues, and you can tell Dante Martin's really got a busted rib. It's clearly broken, but he still goes out. He's still doing flips and shit, still doing some lockups. Shelton obviously hitting it, and he clearly is hitting. He's wincing throughout. And it's like, I respected it. This was a really big performance from Dante Martin. Really enjoyed this. After it, obviously, Shelton gets the win, and I really enjoyed that they continued the match. They could have easily just got that Dante Martin back in the ring and, hit the finish easily after the break, just held it off. And they clearly did stall for time, but I respect, honestly, my opinion of Dante Martin's just grew after this. It's such a big deal to me. The guy stepped in late notice, clearly broken off something, a rib, and continued the match. And it was a very good match. It was, and even the mic promo and stuff, MVP really elevates this, I think. I love MVP. But for that little moment of, kid, just give up, stuff like that, I love that. And then the guy in the crowd, "Hey, don't talk to CD like that." I don't know why that made me laugh. But the end of the match, you can tell it was a lot of respect for Dante Martin. Because MVP grabs the mic after the match, to do promo for Moxley for next week again, Dynamite Shelton vs Moxley. And he goes, "Before we start anything, can we all give respect to Dante Martin?" And I feel like Dante Martin was like, "Are they just going to break kayfabe here?" And then MVP, again, like a genius, blends it perfectly. He goes, "Scorpio Sky Rengen sick when he was facing Shelton Benjamin." And Dante Martin stepped in. And, I just want to give credit where credit's due. And I was happy they did that because I really do think he deserved credit. And I was really happy they did that because I really enjoyed the performance. And stepping in short notice, getting injured, and just the way they worked around it, I was very impressed. I really was. But then MVP goes, cut the crap, let's go. And then just proceeds to call out John Moxley, saying, "Look, John, I respect you, what you've done is brilliant, but, essentially, you ain't no Shelton Benjamin, and Shelton Benjamin's just going to toy with you." I love that the whole thing with MVP from the start with Shelton is, Shelton likes to play with his food. And even backstage, outside the ring, he goes, "Start playing with your food, he goes, "Start playing with your food, Shelton, let's go." Stuff like that. I don't know why. I don't think that's a work. I just think that's just how he speaks to Shelton at this point. And that was it. Basically, he just does the promo. And yeah, MVP on the mic and Shelton just fun. Shelton at the end of it, I don't know why. Shelton Benjamin's great, but he's also the most idiotic wrestler I've seen for the man that age. Like, he's obviously he struggles with the promos. That's why he's got MVP there and, mouthpieces. And at the end, he goes like this, like MVP's still talking, and he goes like the awkward thumbs up and then moves it to a thumbs down, like, doing what Bobby did. But it just looks so awkward. I don't know why he did that, because Shelton's got funny facial expressions. She goes, like, he does the face. It's so, I don't know what it is. I love Shelton Benjamin, but he's so goofy, and I love him. But match was really good. Dante Martin is great. Really happy he had that moment, and I hope he gets rewarded for that, really. I think Dante Martin could be a singles guy like that. As much as I like Top Flight, don't love them, but I like them. Dante Martin's the star there. Sorry, it's sad to say, but he is. And I was really happy that they showed respect after the match. And honestly, I'm just glad that this one existed, because it was a nice showcase of Dante Martin especially, but also Shelton versus Moxley is a big deal, and Shelton on his own, I'm always a fan of. So, going from something I liked to going to something I disliked, it was Sammy Guevara and Bandido backstage. Now, for some reason, Sammy Guevara's doing a dumbass, "Hey, I don't want to talk to..." He's doing like this really rough voice. It's a fake voice, and I don't get it. I don't even think it's like a gimmick. I just think he's just trying to do this now. And it's ass. I don't like Sammy Guevara. I just don't get it. And he's calling Bandido out, saying, "I'm pissed off. He's giving his voice fake scratch, and it's weird. Going, I want a match against you, Bandido." Calling Bandido out, being pissed. And he goes, "What do you say?" And pointing at him. And Bandido just calmly goes, "Why are you so angry? All you have to do is ask." It's just funny. But, and then that was it, really. I just don't know why Sammy Guevara's doing a dumbass voice. Like, I know why, because he's a fucking idiot. But, what's new, Sammy Guevara? why is he on AEW TV? Whatever. And just nice to see Bandito. That mask was clean, by the way. After that, we get a small little MJF hype package, considering what happened with him at Dynamite, with how many people called him out for his new Triple B. The showcasing Kenny, Swerve, Hangman, and Joe and stuff like that. So, kind of just a recap of what happened with MJF and Dynamite. And after that, it cuts to Shivani and McGuinness at the announce table. And they go over a note that's been passed over from Stokely, promoting the Stokely Hathaway Foundation after his monstrous table bump, which I'm glad they did something on TV for. He gets Tony to read out a note saying, people, whoever mocked me, shame on you. People, thanks for all the support. Bear in mind, throughout this, people in the crowd have all found like paper signs printed by Stokely. It's like the last poster for the Stokely Foundation, where it's like a cartoon Stokely. Everyone's holding it up, going, "What the hell?" And then during the thing, he goes, "I'm in a certain hospital, and my medical bills are like $400,000. Everyone, please contact Tony at the end of the show because he only has to go home and drink." And he's like, Tony even goes, "What the hell?" And the mic, it's just dumb. I'm just happy that they acknowledged Stokely. I wish we could have got a promo, but he probably is hurt at this point, so. But I don't care. I love Stokely. I think this was hilarious. I'm glad that they're doing something with the Stokely Hathaway Foundation. I just think this is going to get so much mileage, and I'm so glad. So our last match was the Darby Allin vs. Wheeler Yuta match. Now, I thought this match was fine. It wasn't the best match of the night. Again, that clearly to me was Hechizero versus Commander. I really enjoyed that. But I think this match was fine. I thought Yuta looked good. And I was happy that Yuta looked better than what he usually did. Big surprise, we got Moxley on commentary, and I love that. Obviously, we all like Moxley on commentary. And he gives credit to Yuta and Darby. There's a point where he gets asked about Yuta when Garcia joins, and he goes, he says, "Where's Yuta on the totem pole now? Is he below or above Garcia?" And he goes, "There's no totem pole." And he goes, "Danny Garcia's been a dream." So, and they go out the way to make Yuta look good. And I'm kind of happy about that. They don't make Yuta look weak again. I think this is the strongest we've seen Yuta in a while. So the big thing for me, I'll just say right now, Yuta didn't get the win. I think Yuta should have got the win. I feel like that would have been a lot more interesting. I feel like you could have got a lot more mileage and time out of this. But honestly, for the way the match was going at the start, I really thought they were going to give Yuta the win. Again, I think they should have. But the match was fine. It wasn't the most insane Darby match. You get a few... Darby does take a lot of pain and stuff. And Yuta... Again, at the start when he walked in, he looked like he had braids, Yuta, and he never. And I was kind of glad that he never. I thought he was going to get braids. But I'm trying to think of specific... This match kind of just felt like a blur. It didn't really stand out to me. I don't know if that was me or what. But I'm just happy Yuta looked good. Like, he looked very technical again, to be honest. And there's obviously, he's got his heel work going. But, like, at the start of it specifically, there was a lot of technical, like, not joint manipulation, but, the wrist control and stuff. And I think Yuta having that showcase again, I've missed this kind of showcase of Yuta. And I don't know if he specifically looked good or just haven't had a true showcase of the guy's talent again in a while. So, either or. But the match, it wasn't, like, insane. It didn't have a lot of time. Admittedly, it only had, like, 10, 20 minutes. Not even 20 minutes. I think I had 12 minutes, to be exact. So, and that's not their fault. I just feel like if they wanted it to build, have a bit more oomph to it, they should have given it a bit more time. But I got Hechicero versus Commander, which banged, so I'm not going to complain. But, Darby got the win. And so, basically, Darby's going to be calling out Pac, and that's it. I do feel like they should have given Yuta the win. But, hey-ho, what am I know? I do wish we get... I hope we get another Yuta match on Collision. I think that's my biggest takeaway from this match. I'd like to get another Yuta match on Collision. A singles match. I don't know who you could do it against. You could do it against someone... even something like a Rock. Honestly, give me Yuta versus Rocky Romero. I'd fuck with that. That could be a fun match. Yuta versus Lance Archer. People like this, And I think that's the way to go with Yuta. So he's not looking super weak because... It's hard, for me, one of my biggest problems is the handling of Wheeler Yuta, as I've said in a Yuta video. I just think, definitely, we should keep an eye on Yuta having just a few more singles matches, maybe getting a win or two, but not, like, against ridiculous guys. And you can have him get beat by, lower label guys, but still, that could be an ego thing. I don't know, I just feel like we need to strengthen Yuta's roll-up. But that was the last match of Collision this week, and, super good Collision. So, this Collision really surprised me. I didn't expect to enjoy it this much. I said it earlier, I thought this Collision didn't have a lot of announced prior. We only had 4 things announced prior. And after that, I feel like that benefited it because it did have a lot of surprises for me specifically. Again, Headshot versus Commander. I haven't seen Commander in a while. Same with Big Bill and Brian Keith. So it was really nice to see these guys again. Dante Martin again. And I really enjoyed that aspect to it. But the matches were great. Again, the specific ones that stand out were obviously Headshot versus Commander and Dante Martin versus Shelton. I didn't expect to enjoy those as much as I did. And I really did. And honestly, after watching the Wrestle Kingdom card today, I thought that card had some great matches on it, what I seen. This one, I thought this could have been overshadowed by it. It actually probably improved my viewing experience. I don't know how to describe that, but I think it did. But yeah, I thought this Collision really did exceed my expectations. They went the highest, so I was pleasantly surprised with this Collision. And I thought it was thoroughly entertaining. What did you think of Collision? Did you watch it? What was your favourite match? And honestly, if you did, what was your opinion on Headshot versus Commander? Because I really thought that fucked. I thought that was really good. And I hope people can acknowledge that as a fun TV match because it was really good. It was one of the best Collision matches outside of C2 matches I've seen in a while, to be perfectly honest. And that's wild to say.